الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله.
Death is part of human nature. It is inevitable. On today's edition of Road to Mecca, we are discussing about how Islam viewed death. I'm grateful to be joined by Sheikh Ismail Dua, who is the president of the Supreme Council of Islamic Affairs in Zimbabwe. Sheikh, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Could you please tell us what is the meaning of death in Islam?
In the name of God, the most beneficent, the most merciful. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Death in Islam. Otherwise, in English, we say departing the world. Because a person doesn't die, but he will be leaving this earth. Why do I say so? When God created Adam, he was a statue at first for a certain period. Then after 40 days, God put soul into Adam. Then he became a human being. So it means that a person came from death, then to life, then he goes back to death. تُرِجُ اللَّيْلَ فِي النَّهَارِ وَتُخْرِجُ النَّهَارَ فِي اللَّيْلِ وَتُخْرِجُ الْحَيَّ مِنَ الْمَيْتِ وَتُخْرِجُ الْمَيْتِ مِنَ الْحَيَّ in Arabic. So it's a matter of God is just taking the soul which you put on a human being. Then you become again a statue, which is dust. That's why when we bury a person, we say, you came from dust and you are returning to dust. But the soul will be alive.
So what happens when someone dies? Do you believe in life after death?
Yes, indeed. That is why everybody, including the Christians, the Muslims, everybody, why do we go to church? Why do you do good things? We do all these things because we know that there is life after death. And all of us will face judgment. That's why everybody, Christians, Muslims, we pray. Why do we pray? Because all the prophets who were sent, all those Jesus, Muhammad, Abraham, all to teach us good deeds so that we go and get our payments. It's like a person who goes to work, at the end of the month, he earns his salary. So all our good deeds is a salary for the life hereafter. We are going to be paid by God from Allah. We have got two things. If you are doing bad things, to hell, you go in hell. If you are doing good things, you go to heaven, paradise, Jannah. In Arabic, we say Jannah and Jahannam, paradise and Gehenna.
And what are some of the rituals that are performed when a person dies?
In fact, in Islam, we've got 4 compulsory things. Washing the dead body, shrouding with the white cloth. For men, there are 3, and for women, 5 white cloth. Then we perform a prayer for the dead. Then we bury. Those are the most compulsory, the prayers, and we bury.
How do you bath the dead body?
When we bath a person, we bath physically, but with protective cloth, gloves, and so forth. The reason is, I think I'll give you an example. When a baby is born, what do you do first? You bath the baby. And when he dies again, the person to go with dirty, you bath again. So we do physically. And we perfume the body. And we shroud and go and bury. He should go clean.
Considering that we are under COVID-19, what's the process now of bathing the dead body and burial?
Yes, indeed. That's a very good question. Islam tells us not to kill ourselves. It's in the Quran. Islam teaches us not to kill ourselves. So in this time of COVID, we've got a COVID funeral that is handled by the health people. We should follow the protective ways and everything. And if we want to make prayers for them, we do in a protective, and we don't gather. We leave the law to take its course. Yes. Because we are told not to kill ourselves. So we've got option whereby that one is being buried with the procedures of the laws. Whether it's World Health laws, our country law, we abide to that.
And how long is the dead body kept before burial?
In Islam, if there's no reason to wait for, it should be immediately. Because we don't have any reason of keeping the body. Unless the person, there's a reason, like it's a police case, they want to investigate, they want to do. In Islam, in fact, if the death is clear without police involvement, we don't do post-mortem. Because we don't look for a witchcraft that someone has bewitched this person. Because God promised us that kullu nafsi dha'iqatul maut, every soul will face the death. And that death you face in different ways. Some dies while they are sitting. So you don't need to go and find a witch doctor, why my person is dead and so forth. No, then you will be, in fact, you will not be a believer when God says, kullu nafsi dha'iqatul maut, every soul will face the death. So if the death is natural, immediately you should bury. Unless if it is in police case, or there are children who are coming somewhere, but also those children, I mean, it's expectation, you see, but immediately.
Are people allowed to do body viewing?
Yes, indeed. But that word again, let me correct. Both Christians and Muslims, they say body viewing. But to me, it's face viewing. Because we don't view the whole body. It's a face which is open. And you look at the face, then you pass. So I don't know this English of body viewing, both Christian and Muslim. They say we are doing body viewing. Body viewing is you are viewing the whole body. But yes, we view the body.
Are Muslims cremated?
No,
The body is cremated.
no, we don't.
Why?
We don't. Definitely a person should be buried because you were born as a full human being and you should be buried as a full human being.
And how long is the mourning period before burial?
In fact, the mourning period, according to the Sunnah of the Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the nearest relatives, they can mourn for 3 days, but not more than 3 days. The closest, why 3 days? They will be comforting the relative of the deceased, whether a husband, whether a wife. And what will they be doing? Making prayers for the dead, that may Allah, may God accept the deceased and forgive the deceased all their sins. But not more than 3 days. And we are not allowed, if someone dies, we are not allowed to jump and start screaming, pulling your hair. Ndinosara nani? Yes, unosara na Mwari. You see, tinonzi ngatichemene tariro, because the death is from God.
Okay. And why are women not allowed to visit the graveyard?
To go to the grave. They are mothers. You know, the person came from a woman. You get the point? And you know, to conceive a baby is painful. So if you take a woman to the grave, seeing his child or his somebody been buried, it's a painful thing. But in short, they don't have any work to do because digging the grave is a man's job. Everything there is done by men. So, but if they are women only, in Islam, as I said, there are options. Let's say they are only women, they'll do. But if the men are there, at the grave we don't have much work there because Muslims, we don't take time at the graveyard. It's a matter of bringing the body, lowering it, cover it, make a short prayer and we leave. So why should they come? For what? We don't do another program there where like Christians, they started dancing and so, but we don't do that. It's a matter of just bringing and lowering the body, covering it, make the prayers and leave.
There are some religious sects who worship the dead. What's your take on that?
No, we don't worship the dead, but we make du'as, we make prayers for the dead so that God forgive the dead. We ask God that, oh, Almighty, forgive our relatives, all their sins. Especially the du'as or the prayers which are much acceptable are for the children. Oh God, forgive my father.
The water that is used to wash the dead body is also used to prepare food during Sadaq.
That is just hearsays of the people. Even yourself for health purposes. Even the health people in the country, can they allow that? Because we are governed, we are not living in a free state. We are living in a state where there are laws. We've got health inspectors, we've got everybody. That is just people saying it. We don't do that. And if you come to our mosques where we bath the person, it goes to the drainages to clean the person. We don't do that.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha